Got one more for you here on the front of people flipping on Trump, and I'm not even going to do a whole song and dance. Look, you know who it is. It's fine ass Brian Tyler Cohen. Let's break it down.
About co-defendants and witnesses flipping on Trump, but this latest news is hands down his worst yet. Politico is now reporting that Mark Meadows, Trump's former chief of staff, has just signaled that his defense will likely include blaming Donald Trump as the driving force behind efforts to steal the 2020 election. Now, if Meadows does ultimately decide to throw Trump under the bus, it'll make him the highest profile cooperator to turn on his former boss thus far. In court, Meadows' attorney downplayed his client's culpability by pointing out that he never called on the Georgia Secretary of State to change the vote totals. During cross-examination with Brad Raffensperger, Meadows' lawyer asked, "He didn't make a request that you change the vote totals, Mr. Meadow himself," to which Raffensperger replied, "Correct." And of course, a question like that only underscores the fact that Donald Trump did in fact make that request.
God damn. Mark Meadows was Trump's chief of staff. For context, if you don't recall. Most of you probably do because we've talked about him extensively, but not for a long time. Meadows was Trump's chief of staff. That's the guy in the White House who orchestrates everything, who puts complicated strategies together. So if the person who's saying, you go here and do this, you go there and do that, if they're saying, wasn't my idea, it can basically only come from one other person. He can't turn and say, like, well, listen, Rudy told me to. Who the is Rudy to you? No one. That's huge. I will also say, even I can't take credit for predicting that well before I was saying, ooh, do you think? Ooh, do you think? David Feldman was saying, Meadows is a coward. There's no way Meadows does anything except turn on Trump. You guys in the chat before I was saying, I wonder, you guys were asking the question, and here's your answer. It would seem. Let's let fine-ass Brian Tyler Cohen keep breaking it down.
Meadows also signaled his intention to dump Trump again during cross-examination. He was explaining that Trump viewed the fake elector scheme as critical to his strategy of staying in power, and so he needed to line up those slates of electors. Meadows said, "What I didn't want to happen was for the campaign to prevail in court action and not have this lined up." When asked why, Meadows responded, "Because I knew I'd be yelled at by the President of the United States." Again, not exactly something you say in court if your intention is to protect the guy who you just blamed, making
Wasn't yelled at by Trump's attorney. Wasn't yelled at by Eastman. Wasn't yelled at by the person making pizza down the street. Nope. POTUS. That he's describing what a coup feels like when you're part of it.
It's pretty clear that Meadows views his way out of this as stepping on Donald Trump. And of course, it's not just Mark Meadows. 3 of the fake electors also asserted in court that they acted on Trump's behalf, signaling that they're likely to throw Trump under the bus to save themselves. The attorney for one of those electors, Sean Still, now a state senator, wrote in a filing, "Mr. Still, as a presidential elector, was also acting at the direction of the incumbent president of the United States. The president's attorneys instructed Mr. Still and the other contingent electors that they had to meet and cast their ballots on December 14th, 2020. An attorney for another fake elector, Kathleen Latham, submitted a filing that she acted at the direction of the President of the United States. And keep in mind, that case hasn't even started in earnest yet, and 3 people are already opting to turn on Trump. And a number of the remaining co-defendants in that case who've been indicted in Fulton County don't have the benefit of some national following that they can leverage to present themselves as martyrs. We're talking.
We were, to give you a sense of the Fulton County case, we were watching some of the very first moments that are streamable over on the Facebook group earlier today, and they're just right now starting to deal with like Sidney Powell, for example. They haven't even. I mean, they're sharpening the fork and knife, but they haven't even started carving this turkey. Not a lot of folks who would be joining Trump's defense if they were required to stick by what they said 6 months ago. Not a lot of folks seem to think that Trump himself has a very strong case. Or at least they don't think that they have a strong case. Which tells you a hell of a lot about what Trump's case will be.
About a bail bondsman, a county election supervisor, a pastor, a publicist. These people are currently deciding whether it's worth it to go to prison for someone who A, does not care about them, B, wouldn't do the same for them, and most importantly, C, couldn't even do anything to help them. Remember, if we're talking about this Fulton County case, this is a state prosecution, meaning that even if Donald Trump were to win the presidency in 2024, he wouldn't be able to use his powers as president to pardon them, meaning they have nothing to gain by hitching themselves to the wagon that is Donald Trump, which is probably why they're getting restless fast. So I don't know the final number of co-defendants that'll be left by the time this trial actually kicks off, but I'm almost positive that it's not going to be 19. Consider, too, in the classified documents case, one witness already did flip, an IT aide at Mar-a-Lago named Yuscil Taveras, who oversaw the surveillance camera footage at the property. He had initially testified that he was unaware of any efforts to erase video surveillance footage, but after getting
You know, that guy we just watched the CNN segment on. I wasn't sure if we were going to do the Brian Tyler Cohen one. The CNN one was a little bit more robust, I thought, in terms of the actual info on who that guy is. In answer to your question, Pinkerbell, yes, I 100% did that on purpose. Because if there's such a thing as a suit nerd, your old pal Jake is one. Let's listen to Brian Tyler Cohen giving the breakdown, the very quick breakdown on Yuscil Taveras.
Had initially testified that he was unaware of any efforts to erase video surveillance footage, but after getting a new attorney who wasn't paid for by Donald Trump's PAC, he immediately retracted his false testimony and began cooperating with prosecutors to the detriment of Donald Trump. And to give you an idea of just how deep in the thick of it Taveras is, you might want to take a look at the indictment, which lays out a conversation between Taveras and Mar-a-Lago property manager Carlos de Oliveira. De Oliveira told Trump employee 4, that's Yuscil Taveras, that their conversation should remain between the two of them. De Oliveira asked Trump employee 4 how many days the server retained footage. Trump employee 4 responded that he believed it was approximately 45 days. De Oliveira told Trump employee 4 that the boss wanted the server deleted. Trump employee 4 responded that he would not know how to do that and that he did not believe he would have the rights to do that. Jesus. Trump employee 4 told De Oliveira that De Oliveira would have to reach out to another employee who was a supervisor of security for Trump's business organization. De Oliveira then insisted to Trump employee 4 that the boss wanted the server deleted and asked, "What are we going to do?" That testimony is the result of one single person flipping, in case you were wondering the damage that a single witness could do to Donald Trump here. It's also a blinking red light for other co-defendants who opt not to flip, because now they're fighting alongside defendants whose case just got a whole lot weaker. Remember,
not a good day. Not a good day to be Donald Jamiroquai Trump.